Hello and welcome to AmassGames. Today I'm bringing you 40 to 31 in the top 250 board games of all time based on the 1650 plus that I've played. Please hit subscribe to check out all the rest of the videos coming and any future videos. Hit that notification bell. Up at 40 we have Thunderbirds, a cooperative game by Matt Leacock. This is a very interesting game which basically is all around the Thunderbirds theme. If you're not familiar with it, it's a sort of 1970s, I think, kind of correlation, or maybe 1950s in fact, based on its 50th anniversary of this game involving this international kind of space agency which is called International Rescue, and involved dice rolling, area movement, pick up and deliver, various things like that. I recommended at a player count 3 or 4, maybe 5, not a 6, because there's a terrible character in space. He hardly does anything, just floats back down and back up again. Here's the board, and Modifius, the guys behind it. Very interesting, like I said, lovely game in at number 40 here. And yeah, the cooperation is really good. The fact that you have the Hood, this weird baddie I've never heard of, who is making his way, and there's various planets involved, various parts of the map, various places to go. This is the designer who did Pandemic, which is one of the best cooperative board games of all time. Very highly rated for me as a cooperative board game. It's pretty much everyone's go-to cooperative board game. And in this particular game, like I said, you're doing various things. You have to avert disasters, meet some objectives, pick up, deliver stuff to ensure things are met. That is number 40, and that is Thunderbirds. Now, you can get loads of expansions for this. I believe it was a Kickstarter game initially, and it was indeed. And you can get it up very cheaply. Like I said, I highly recommend you try this out. Really good and a little underrated. But still is there, it's just not always talked about. That's the trouble with Kickstarter. So up next, Malama. This is a party game. This is probably one of my favourite games by Big Potato Games. Some of their games are good, some are definitely not. They're just in this kind of bizarre category. It's a rhyming game, and there's 3 different tiers of the kind of things you do. For example, you come across Cara Delevingne on a washing machine, or George Clooney doing a Mooney, and Harrison Ford swallowing a sword. So your job in 30 seconds is to try and get these rhymes, and either you have a prescribed thing where you're trying to get, or you're trying to think up a rhyme, or another thing like it involving acting something out. Very funny. Unfortunately, there aren't many decent pictures at all, but like I said, there's 3 categories. You roll a die, and it basically allows you to do various different things. That's the die here. And it's very fun. That looks like it's the UK Games Expo in the Hilton before it moved over to the other venue perhaps. No, in fact, it's in Louisiana. It's very similar carpets to maybe they use the Hilton. I don't know. Looks like maybe not. So the Quacks of Quintinenberg, I was chatting to someone about this earlier today. This is a push your luck deck pool bag building game by Wolfgang Warsch, who brought out 4 games this particular year. Dennis Lockhausen, we keep talking about him, don't we, as the artist. And Schmidt-Spiel did a great job when this came out. Over in the States, you have the North Star and North America. And it's a game whereby you're trying to improve your potions, trying to go up these various tracks by basically improving the kind of different things, such as let's call it Wenlock and mushrooms and various different things here, pumpkins and beetles and all kinds of different ghost things that allows you to move up these various tracks, because the more points you get, you can spend it on more items, including overall victory points. This is basically your score tracker, but you can actually spend it as well on getting these different points here, like 7 might means you can buy a mandrake and stuff like that. You can flip these boards over. There's 4 different ones, so flip them over, there's 8 combinations. In total, there's over 2,000 combinations you can put together. I've ranked the 4 different books, and in fact, I've got a promo as well, which is a fantastic promo. You can flip the board over, you can try another combination and to do with basically what you can choose to do with this dropper, which basically means where do you start around the board. Starting around later means, of course, you can score more points. You have rubies, you can give you points as well, especially if you land on a ruby. Loads of upgrade abilities. Excellent game, and quite rightly won Spiel des Jahres, which is, of course, best game of the year. More prestigious than any other award there is, because it talks about fun, replayability, easy to teach, and family friendliness. So, Pandemic Legacy Season 1, and we just talked about Pandemic. This is the legacy aspect. This is where you permanently change things to the board. I'm not going to click any pictures. I don't want to spoil anything for you. But ultimately, you're going to have this board, and you're going to have to make some decisions about whether or not you should do this or that, and whether or not that's the right thing that you should be doing, based on new things that could well occur each in particular month. I've only played this game this season once, as you can see 19 plays it took us, but in fact I'm in a couple of other groups that I should be playing as well. That's how much I enjoy this game. Same designers before, Rob Davro, we just spoke about Matt Leacock doing, of course, Thunderbirds, and Chris Quilliams has always been the designer, the artist involved in Pandemic. Apologies for any noise you hear that, that's still 3 months of banging next door. And up next we have Watson and Holmes, and for some reason I went straight into it, but basically this is the layout. You are Watson and Holmes, and you are going to various locations based on the scenario you've been given. And I love this game. This is a game which has 13 different missions. They get harder and harder. I've played about 9 so far, or 10. I think one of them I played twice. And it's a very interesting game involving going, like I said, to different locations and defining, do you want to spend some carriages? Do you want to be the first to try to get to the end? Because you're trying to unravel a mystery. Do you need to go to the restaurant? You're going to know where everyone else goes. And if they suddenly go from the restaurant to the goods platform, have they found something? Have they found someone's taken something, I don't know, like a cake, and they found it on the goods platform, or they said, oh, and they're walking towards the goods platform, so they go there, which might be a dead end. But the point is you don't know, and you're trying to compete with others to solve the mystery and write down what you think is a free-form answer, get to the end and see if you're correct. If you're not, other people will then try and race to get there first, and if they get there first and get it correct, so they will win, depending on how many characters they have. So it's very, very clever, quite open world, lots of different missions. I can't recall much of the other missions compared to other games such as Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective that I mentioned, and that's why I think this is such a fantastic game. Splendor. This did not win Game of the Year, but everyone thought it should have done and beaten either Celtis or Colt Express. This is a fantastic, very, very introductory game to engine building predominantly, and there's a race, there's a definitely strong race element. And let me show you what it looks like over here. This is a fantastic picture, and this basically shows you some various people, like King Henry VIII, that you can meet to get 3 victory points by getting 4 cards representing, I think, Onyx, and 4 representing Ruby. And you do that by initially you can choose to pick up a card here. You can choose to, and to get one of these cards, you take it. But to get it, you do need to have certain gems. So 3 core elements to the game and 3 core actions. So you can either take 1 off each, so you can take a total of 3 that way, 1, 2, 3, or as long as there's 4 at least, you can take 2 of one type. In this instance, you might want to take a blue, a green, and a red. Everyone else might see you're working on this, so you could try and do the same or not. But someone else might do something different. They're all the same difficulty in the sense you need 4, 4, 4, 4. And then if you have enough, you spend your gems to get the card. A third action is you can just reserve a card, giving you a wild, gold kind of thing as well. Now, when you do that, you'll then got this permanently. So it's a permanent jewel. It's a permanent gem, or in this case, diamond, you can use towards going through other stuff. When you do that, it'll help you then work up to the next levels, etc., until someone hits 15 in a round in total in terms of points, and then it triggers that end of the game. Very, very interesting, fantastic. Check out my review, I'll put in the comments. Up next, Ticket to Ride Japan. This is a very new game compared to the other ones in the Ticket to Ride so far. It's got a lovely map. It also includes Italy, and involving, I'll show you both maps. This is Italy, a bit of a boring map in a way. Basically, you have different provinces. I'll definitely play this again. This is, like I said, pretty high up. It's in my top 40 games, and you're trying to score based on each region. I don't think we fully grasped it last time. We were definitely focusing on different regions. As you can see, there's 7 different regions, or approximately 7, and the more you have, the better it is. But if I show you the Japanese map, I've only played that as a 2, but in the Japanese map, it basically involves a bit like a tunnel. It lets you go off into the cities. So you can connect into a city, and it lets you basically chuck off and start working towards certain other little routes. Up next, we have Port Royal Unterwegs. It's basically a slimmed down version of Port Royal. For that reason, it doesn't get a high rating. It's the same game, it's just with fewer cards in a way. It's a lot more simpler to play, but you can bunch it up and chuck it into your base game as well, which we tend to do. Each of these cards have a different kind of symbol on them, normally bottom right, I believe, or it's one of these corners, which basically have a little kind of safety pin, like a black marker, showing you that it actually is an expansion, and there are various expansions. Here are those cards there. So that has been Port Royal Unterwegs. So, up next, again, we're working through this list. Please hit that like button, show me you enjoy the contents, and check out the comments, chuck something in, I'll reply straight away, and also, as soon as I can, check out that description again for some of these links. So Ticket to Ride, really highly rated. It won Spiel.digital, as we just talked about, in 2004. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. Alex Armoon sold about 35 million copies currently. Very, very cool game, and it's basically a pick up and deliver-ish kind of game. It's a route building game, push your luck, card drafting, network, and set collection. You're trying to get, for example, 3 pink cards. If you get 3 pink cards, like in Rummy, you can then go from Helena to Salt Lake City. You might want to do that because you're going to start off some routes, maybe from Winnipeg to El Paso or something like that, and you need to get there however you wish. However, you might get some extra bonuses, such as the longest route. You're going to get bonuses for completing routes, so that's going to give you 7 points because it's 4, and 4 down here gives you 7 points as an example. And of course, completing that route gives you, say, 10 points. Now, if you can't complete a route at the end, you're going to lose 10 points. So it's important to complete routes, and you don't necessarily want to have too many in case you don't complete them. Single card games always stays in my phone wallet. This is a fantastic, and again, it's just because it's bluffing, it's a purely bluffing game. Am I smiling or am I frowning? That's all it is. I have both versions of this game, and what you're looking to do, see 136 plays. I love playing this game. It's amazing how tense it can get. You're trying to just literally say, am I smiling or frowning? They're going to say, yeah, you're smiling, or yes, I'm frowning. And then I'm going to turn it around and say, look at it, well, not upside down, and say, all right, let me have a look. Oh, I was smiling. All right, so I stay in the game. If they say you're frowning, and I say I think you're wrong, I think I'm smiling, according based on the card, then they're out. So it's a player elimination kind of game, and that puts off a lot of people, but it's such a swift and easy game to play. That's why it's so good. So thanks very much. Again, that's another 10 done, so we've got 30 left. Hope you enjoy the rest of them, and let me know what you think. Like I said, check out the playlist for both this set of games and more. All the best. Bye for now.